Welcome all to a brand new episode of Brews and Banter FC. I'm Redbeard with my co-host Targo. In today's episode, we take a look at some footballing news, especially some controversial refereeing decisions from this past weekend.
Yes, and then we'll take a look at the Premier League, the top and the bottom. With just 26 days and 49 matches left in the season, Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool will battle it out for the top spot. This is a brand new episode of Brews and Banter FC, and it starts right now.
How the hell are you, buddy?
I am doing good. Very good. It's been a while. We've been busy. We've been busy.
Life throws curveballs at you.
Yes,
Glad
it
we
does.
can finally get this back on the road. So, to celebrate that, Targo, what are you drinking today?
Today, I am drinking Big Sky Brewing Company Hazy IPA. It's out of Montana.
Ooh.
Has a dragonfly on the can.
Nice.
Kind of cool.
That's not often you see an all white decal on a can. That's pretty cool.
Kind of bland. If I'm being honest with you.
About as bland
a little
as
bit more
the white
from you,
can,
Big
huh?
Sky. But
Big
it's not
sigh.
bad. It is a big sigh. But it's not bad. I mean, it's all right. Still just not very flavorful.
That's disappointing. Well, hopefully my beer will be a little bit better. I got Dogfish Head Citrus Squall Double Golden Ale. It is ale with grapefruit and blue agave, 8%.
Spicy.
The last grapefruit one I had was really bad, so let's hope this one's better.
That one's got a little kick to it, huh? 8%.
Yeah, it's 8%, and this tastes like grapefruit juice, like straight up. Not quite as bitter as grapefruit juice, but it smells and tastes just like grapefruit. This is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Especially at 8%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll give that a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. And I don't like grapefruit. So, yeah, this is much better than the last one.
I give this one a 6 out of 10. It's
meh.
Above average. Just slightly above average there, yeah.
It's just meh.
Meh.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by Acorn Hills Clothing Company. Sustainable clothing, biodegradable packaging, tree planted for every purchase, and a percentage of their sales donated to charities.
Yeah, and that's not even the best part. They give you these plantable clothing tags with every purchase. Pretty much greatest idea ever.
That is
scan
awesome.
The QR code right here for planting instructions. So make sure you go to www.acornhillsco.com and use Brews15. That is BREWS15 at checkout for 15% off and have your tree planted today.
Yes, don't forget to use our code Brews15 at checkout for 15% off. This is one you don't want to miss, guys.
All right, Targo, let's get into some news in the footballing world. We had some titles crowned over the past couple of weeks. First off, we traveled to the Bundesliga, and Bayer Leverkusen remain undefeated after drawing Dortmund at Signal Iduna Park, leaving it late.
They left it very late. So it was funny. I was watching this game. I started out watching this game. I was debating, okay, do I watch Leverkusen Dortmund or do I watch Manchester United Coventry? I started with the Dortmund, and then I saw Man United was up 3-0 on Coventry. I was like, well, I'm not going to watch that one then, because at the time it was still 0-0 in the Bundesliga match. Dortmund scores. They're up 1-0. I'm kind of flipping on my phone here, looking at the United Coventry, and I'm seeing, 2-3? Okay, then 3-3. I was like, oh, snap, I got to get back to, got to go watch that game. So I flipped back, watched the little bit of extra time in the penalty shootout, which United won. But then I flipped back to Leverkusen, who again, man, left it late corner. They get it done again and still remain undefeated in all competitions.
I know. What is that? 45 games undefeated, 30 in the Bundesliga. Still going in the Europa League, and they're in the DFP Pokal final, I believe.
Yes, they are.
I think,
Kaiserslautern.
yeah, pretty sure they'll get through that one. But, I mean, crown champions already. Bayern Munich way off the pace, 14 points back with, 3 games left?
They are, yeah.
Or 2 games left. Yeah, I mean, can they go the whole season undefeated?
They got one more stern test this coming weekend where they play Stuttgart. They also have Eintracht Frankfurt, who could be a little tricky, but I think Stuttgart will be their biggest test. If I'm being honest, I kind of wanted Dortmund to win that game. When they went up 1-0, I was like, okay. Like, I wanted Leverkusen to win the title, but okay, going undefeated, now you're being a little greedy.
Right. Can't have anyone messing with our Invincibles season. So
That's right. But man, that Leverkusen team has some players.
yes, they do.
Florian Wirtz, man, is so good. I love watching him play.
He's so good. Might be my favorite player to watch in all of world football right now.
All of world football. So over a Kylian Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Martin Odegaard.
Yep.
Okay.
Just because he's not on a team that is considered to be up with those teams, and he's doing crazy things on the ball. So,
and he's so young.
Oh my gosh. Do you think they can go through the Europa League undefeated as well? I mean, they still got a couple of stern tests there. It could be anybody's ball game.
So yeah, in the semifinal they play Roma, which if you can go back in time, remember Roma knocked them out last year. So we'll see if they can get some revenge. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
And then the other, I don't know who the other tie is. It's on the other side of the bracket, the other semifinal.
Give me a second.
Atalanta and Benfica.
Atalanta for sure, because they beat Liverpool. So it would be Marseille.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Marseille beat Benfica on penalties.
There we go. So, still a couple tests there. They could go the whole season undefeated. It hasn't been done since Johan Cruyff's Ajax team of the 70s or 80s. I don't know, but it would be quite the feat for Bayer Leverkusen.
It will be.
All right.
And Dortmund, going back to them in that Bundesliga match, man, they needed that win against Leverkusen. Dortmund and Leipzig are fighting it out for that last Champions League spot. Dortmund are sitting in 5th.
2 points.
Leipzig in 4th. 2-point difference. Yeah, it's going to be close, man. The Bundesliga Champions League race is going to be close. With Stuttgart looking pretty good, I will say. They got a few points on both those teams.
Yep. But a loss to Leverkusen could throw them right back into that mix. So,
well, they lost on the weekend too to Werder Bremen, a bit unexpected. So that was interesting.
Yeah, was very unexpected. All right, off to Italy, and Inter Milan have won the Scudetto again after winning the Derby della Madonnina on Monday. How feisty was this game, man?
What a way to win it, though, against your city rival. Oh, dude, this game was super feisty, especially at the end. 3 red cards. Some choke slams, some choke holds, a good old fist to the face. Had it all there at the end, man.
I mean, what are we watching? The Derby della Madonnina or WrestleMania? I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you at the end. Or some boxing or something. UFC even.
Yeah, it was crazy. But how good have Inter Milan been this season? I know that they got knocked out a little bit disappointingly of the Champions League, but in Italy, they've been on fire.
Oh, cruising, man. Cruising. They had 86 points. They've only lost 1 game.
Wow.
In Serie A. And they're looking good, man. They made some fantastic signings in the offseason. Got Benjamin Pavard, a couple loan signings, Arnautovic. Um, Jan Sommer from Bayern Munich,
Yeah.
goalkeeper. And then, of course, Marcus Thuram, free signing from Gladbach.
Man, he's been so good for them. I mean, you can't beat free, but getting a player that contributes that much, I mean, 12 goals and 7 assists so far in the Serie A for free is a bargain.
Huge bargain. Huge bargain, man.
Not to mention the chemistry he's built with Lautaro Martinez.
Oh, they look fantastic together, yeah.
Definitely. Okay, Targo. Let's get to something that really grinds my gears. We've been talking about all season.
Grinds
referees around the world, but mostly in the Premier League. So let's do our, I guess it's almost weekly, referee roundup, shall we call it?
Missed calls, shall we?
Yeah.
So
let's start with the big one, Nottingham Forest. They released a pretty damning statement saying 3 penalties were not called in their game against Everton, saying VAR referee was a Luton fan, and they said that before the match to PGMOL. But they didn't consider it, I guess, a match where that would have any effect. I don't know. And that they will consider all their options. What are your thoughts?
I found that last part funny. Consider our options. Like, what options they got, man? They ain't got no options.
I mean, let's look back and see, all the teams that have said let's consider our options. What has happened with those teams and the options?
Nothing, man. Nothing has happened.
You get a complaint, an apology, or them telling you you're wrong, and then you end up getting fined. There's no such thing as a replay. So
I mean, Liverpool had a goal taken back that was rightfully a goal. And what happened there? Nothing. That's the biggest
an apology
sin you can commit. You can commit there. I mean, I get where Forrest is coming from. It's good they're trying to stand up to all this because, yes, the refereeing has been absolutely terrible. But at the same time, I'm not sure what they were hoping to accomplish with that statement.
But not to mention, one Mark Clattenburg. Remember him?
He works for Nottingham Forest.
He works for them. Yeah. And his statement that he released as well said that all 3 of these should have been penalties. So I don't understand the statement at all. Why
I don't
be
either.
public about it?
You can go through them. I think one of them was a handball on Ashley. They're all involve Ashley Young. One of them was a handball on Ashley Young. Seen them given, seen them not given. It's one of those where depends what referee you have. Is it a clear and obvious error? Probably not. Another foul again. Ashley Young fouled someone in the box. It was one of those. Yeah, it was clumsy, but could the attacking player been a little stronger? Seen him given, seen him not given. Third one, blatant, dude. It was a blatant foul inside the box. Should have been a PK. I mean, that's a stone cold PK for sure. So I would say at least one of the 3 stone cold PKs, the ref got it completely wrong. VAR got it completely wrong.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor, was he the...
Don't ask me.
Match official. Anyways, yeah, whoever was on VAR and whoever was match official, VAR didn't even tell him to go look at the monitor, which is...
I don't get why they don't do that, man. It's so annoying. They have that option to go, let me go take a second look, make sure it's correct. And you see it kind of both ways, because you see it, for example, in Bundesliga or La Liga, they'll go to the screen, man, and they'll sit there and stare at it for like 2 minutes, almost convincing themselves of a foul or PK in the box. And so I don't know. I guess it depends which team you support and if the call is going for you or against you, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion is, Forrest had their chances in that match. Morgan Gibbs-White had a wide open one-on-one with the keeper, put it wide. I don't think they should be coming out and complaining about these things. They should do it behind closed doors and apologize to the fans for having such a shit performance against the Everton side that pretty much got out of the relegation scrap with that win.
I wouldn't say they're out of the relegation scrap, but they had a couple nice goals in that game.
They did.
That's for sure.
Both
some long-range efforts from Idrissa Gueye and Dwight McNeil.
Yeah. So, all right, staying in England, How about the FA Cup semifinals?
A couple of handball decisions that went one way or the other. That one was interesting.
Yeah, so we had a handball decision goes for Manchester City, but against Manchester United off a free kick. Hits Jack Grealish in the arm, I believe, in the box. Do you think that should have been a penalty?
Absolutely. It was a shot on target. His arm hits that
Is
ball.
way outside of his
It was
body. Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
I do
And
think that was a penalty.
that ball is probably going in if it doesn't hit his arm.
I would say it's going on target.
Okay, we can agree on that at very least. But yeah, I don't know. How about the one against United?
So yeah, it's against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Cross comes in. You can see him trying to tuck his arm in, but doesn't get it in quick enough. Blocks across. Yeah. For me, they're both penalties.
Yeah, I mean, arms away from the body, unnatural position, ball hits it by the definition of the law. Penalty. Only one of them was called.
And it's the same competition.
Yeah, same competition.
But those are a couple interesting games, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of off topic, though. Keeping with the United game. I mean, first off, they're up 3-0. You even said it yourself. You changed the channel. And then they let in 3 goals in the last 20 minutes. How Manchester United is that?
It's very Manchester United this season, man. That is a definition of Manchester United.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it that they were up 3-0. And I switch over to a different game, and then I check my phone. I'm like, holy shit, they're tied right now? Like, what? Could not believe it. And it goes to PKs. And Casemiro misses the first PK, so it puts some big pressure. But Onana steps up, makes a couple saves. There's a Coventry player missed, blazed it over. But I mean, you can see a lot of the Manchester United players did not celebrate after that penalty shootout. Like Højlund scores the winning PK. He runs to the fans and is like celebrating. He looks behind him and realizes no one's joining him, so he just stops.
And then the one person who, was behind him that celebrated went over to the Coventry bench, and Anthony. What do you think of his
He went to the players who were on the field. He went over to the players that were on the field and celebrated in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh, poor sportsmanship. Yeah. And at least Harry Maguire, he went and shook the hands right after. He didn't even celebrate.
Yeah. I think he was one of the only players that did that. So props to him. You got to show good sportsmanship when it comes to that. Anthony's was very poor.
Yeah, and Harry Maguire even got a goal that game. Scored a nice header.
Yeah, he did. Okay. On to the big match where there always seems to be controversy, El Clasico. Barcelona have a ghost goal, if you will, not given. This one, I mean, first off, La Liga is the only league in all of Europe that doesn't use goal line technology. What are your thoughts on that?
They're going to next season, probably. After this fiasco.
Holy cow.
I will give credit to the referee and VAR. I couldn't tell if it went in from the angles they showed during the game. Like, it looked like it could have been, but also it couldn't have been. So, I don't know. There was no direct camera angle where you could see it. The only direct one across the line, I mean, Ligne was blocking the ball, so you can't see.
Yeah. I did see one still where it looks like it was over the line, but again, it's at a weird angle, so you can't necessarily tell if it's exactly over the line or not. And that begs the question, similar to the Newcastle and Arsenal game, where Joe Willock's ball, did it go over the line, did it not? Insufficient angles. They have 100 and somewhat cameras around the stadium. You'd think they would be able to have one that could tell you.
Goal line? One on each side looking at the goal line.
Something. Yeah. Something. Or, a sensor in the ball, which is probably the easiest route.
For that scenario, yes. Yes, it would be.
Yeah. Okay. How about the penalty for Lucas Vazquez?
Soft. So it's one of those where he kind of sees the challenge coming, starts to go down, but then he puts a leg out there a little, like just a little leg out there to make contact with the defender, goes over. little similar, I will say, to the no call in that Arsenal Bayern game against
Yeah,
Bukayo
right
Saka
at the
and Manuel
death of the
Neuer.
first leg. Yeah,
So it was similar
yeah.
to that one.
Saka leaving the leg out there for Neuer to run into, or Saka to run into Neuer, I guess.
But I did think it was a penalty because, I mean, the poor challenge came in. But I also think the Saka one was a penalty. So there you go.
Yeah, I think both of them were, personally. And then we have a little, again, off topic, but Jude Bellingham with yet another winner in a big match for Real Madrid. How good is he?
Dude, he's so good. I mean, I will say he ghosted a little bit in this game, but he's big moments. Big moments, and it wasn't an easy finish. His goal he scored at the end. But that's 2 game winners against Barcelona this season.
Yeah, it's a quick way to be able to get in the hearts of all Real Madrid fans. I will tell you that.
I saw something. He has more goals for Real Madrid this in his Real Madrid career than David Beckham had in his Real Madrid career. And Beck's had like 100 and something plus games for Madrid.
That's madness. That's madness. Okay, back to the topic on hand. Barcelona have been complaining essentially since the end of the match about how awful that ghost goal no call was. They badly want a replay. It's been given a couple of times throughout Europe where a bad call should have happened, so they replay the match. Do you think they will get it in this one?
Not at all. Don't think they'll get it at all.
Yeah, I don't. I don't either. It's not going to happen, especially with that match. I don't think they'll get it replayed.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, Juan Laporta, he was upset about it.
He complains about a lot of things. So
He does. He really does. All right, let's move on to this Premier League title race, man. It is close. And I love the storyline behind the 3 teams involved. So Man City, they could win their historic 4th Premier League title in a row. Never been done. You have Arsenal with a chance to win the title for the first time in 20 years. Damn, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, and it not only that, but it's 20 years since the Invincibles.
That was the last time they won it.
Yeah. Yeah, and their commemorative Invincible kit. So.
And then you have Liverpool, who are trying to send Jurgen Klopp off with a title. One of Liverpool's best managers of all time. So that would be a fantastic result for them if they could do that. But I guess let's just get into it, man. Let's start with, for me, who are the favorites to win the title? Manchester City.
Yeah, man. I mean, if they win all their matches, they win the title, right? Like, I mean, we've had so many flip-flops in the last couple of weeks of teams leading it. Pretty much all of them have led it in the last couple of weeks at some point or another. You know, Arsenal and Liverpool dropping points when they could have maximized on the fact that, you know, City weren't playing. They didn't. All 3 teams are now out of Europe. So now it's wholeheartedly focus on the Premier League. That's all they have left. As City is in the FA Cup final, they won't play that till the season's over. So, I mean, Man City, right? They've won 3 in a row. They have the pedigree to be there. Mathematically, if they win their last 6 games, they'll win the title. They do have the easiest schedule, I will say. But they do have some matches that have given them a lot of fits in the last couple of seasons.
They do. They have a couple of them in there.
Yeah. Let's start with the one that seemingly gives them a problem every single year, and that's Spurs at Tottenham Stadium, where they have yet to score a goal at that stadium.
Is that true? Man City have yet to score at Hotspur Stadium?
At least in the league, I think they beat them at Hotspur Stadium in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. But yeah, in the Premier League, I mean, it's not really that old. They've only played a handful of games there.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that match could be 1-0 to Spurs. It could be 0-0. Who knows what Spurs team's going to show up, and that's not until the last week of the season.
Yeah, that's not until May 14th. I think the other tricky game for him could be Brighton coming up here this week. That one could be a little tricky.
Yeah, at the Amex, they've dropped points in 2 of the last 3 at the Amex. And then they also, last season, they dropped points at Forest away. So those are the 3 matches I think they could have a little trouble with. I think Forest, probably they'll run them out of their own park
I think they
this
will
season.
steamroll Forest. Yes.
So we'll see, right? Arsenal, as we're going to get onto them next, have played 2 games more at this point. They're in the driver's seat, as we like to say. Points on the board are better than games left to play. Arsenal are 4 points up on City, but City have 2 games in hand. We'll see how that goes. So Arsenal, Targo, our beloved Arsenal, how dare you give us hope?
How
After
did I give
losing to
you?
Villa, getting knocked out of the Champions League, they're still in it somehow.
Somehow,
How are you
man.
feeling? How are you feeling?
I was more excited last season versus this season. This season, I don't think they'll win it. Versus last season, I did up until that crumble. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think Man City could win all their games, and it wouldn't matter if Arsenal won all their games, even though they have a pretty difficult schedule. They faced that one of the tougher games today against Chelsea, where they did steamroll Chelsea. But then
I
they have
think
to go to.
steamroll is an understatement. That game could have been 10-0 or 10-1. Holy cow.
But then they still have a couple tough games, going to Tottenham and Old Trafford.
Yeah. Yeah, Old Trafford is always a problem for Arsenal. However, they are playing probably the worst United side in what? A couple of decades?
Ever? I don't know, man. I mean, I think they've already. I know it was Chelsea. Chelsea today with the goals they conceded against Arsenal have conceded the most goals in a season, like in their history or something. And the season's not over.
57? Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal are, ticking all the boxes. They're hitting all the right gears at the right time. I mean, watching, Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Thomas Partey back in the squad today, only his 5th start all season.
It was good to see him in the starting lineup.
And then, Benny Blanco getting some goals out of nowhere in his last one. Did you see it?
I did. His
Accidental top corner
shanked,
finish.
yeah, his shanked cross that went into the goal.
Woof. Man, I wish I could score accidental goals like that more often. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal are hitting form at the right time. They do have the hardest schedule, which, for both of us is probably why we don't think they're going to win the title. I did predict them to win, so I'm going to keep with it and keep hope. And then at the end of the season, you can tell me I told you so when my lack of a soul is still crushed. And I don't want to watch football for a long time. City, I mean, back to City, they do have some injuries, right? Pep's been complaining about, the amount of games they have to play, and he's upset that they have to play a game midweek as well, and then go back and play again on the weekend. They play Thursday, Sunday, I believe. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne hasn't hit top form this season. Erling Haaland, we know about all of his struggles. Kyle Walker's been in and out of fitness. Rodri doesn't even look like himself. Against Chelsea, I've never seen him dribble the ball that far upfield before in the FA Cup. I mean, their defense looks shaky. Is this like the most opportune time for City to actually drop points in the run in?
It could be, yeah. I mean, Holland is not really hitting the form in the past couple of games, so it could be an opportune moment for the likes of a Tottenham.
Could be. Okay, and on to the team that has all the best storylines going for them. I mean, they're one of their best managers of all time, leaving at the end of the season. They have Anfield rocking right now. You kind of expect them to win every game at Anfield from here on out. They got knocked out of the Europa League by Atalanta, which I don't think anyone saw coming.
They got smoked at Anfield by Atalanta too.
Yeah.
Like 3-0.
Yeah. And it was probably the worst performance I've seen from them all season. They don't have the worst schedule. I mean, they have Spurs and Villa. I believe both are at home, if I'm not mistaken. They play
Villa
Wolves as
Villa is
well.
not.
Villa at Villa Park. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they play Wolves, which could be a problem for them if they get all their players healthy. I mean, City still have to play Wolves as well. But after seeing them against Arsenal, with all their injuries, they had, 10 outfield senior players and a bunch of teenagers on the bench?
They had a 15-year-old man on their bench against Arsenal. A 15-year-old. That's nuts. There's definitely some players playing out of position as well. So yeah, Wolves is hurting for injuries. So we'll see if they get any back for by then.
I mean, they do play Liverpool the last day of the season, right?
So they should theoretically have some back.
Theoretically. I mean, Liverpool's getting most of their players back. Speaking of injuries, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold played at the weekend. Diogo Jota played. Alisson's back. They're looking healthy. Going forward, they look good until they get into that final third, and somehow they're now starting to miss a lot of chances. Why? Where did that come from?
I mean, they got Darwin Nunez, man. That's been his MO. I don't know who's worse at missing big chances, Darwin Nunez or Nicholas Jackson.
So I looked up the stats, and the only person that has missed more chances
Erling Haaland
than Nico Jackson is actually Darwin Nunez. Erling Haaland is like right there, right above Nico Jackson. But yeah, those three have missed more chances than most teams this season, which is crazy to me. But I mean, you got Luis Diaz, who's missing loads of chances. Mo Salah doesn't look like the same player he was. I mean, they just lost to Crystal Palace 1-0, and probably the best defensive performance I've ever seen from Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace looks pretty good right now, though, I will say. So, yeah, they beat Liverpool Palace, and then they had a big win after that.
Where, 5-1 against somebody.
It was 5-2 against West Ham. And they look good, man. When they have Eze and Olise on the pitch together at the same time, they can hurt you. And Glasner has them playing very well. I might change some of my manager rankings we did a while back. Move him up a little. If I'm being honest with you, because I like what he's doing with Palace.
Yeah, he's done a lot of really good things with Palace, especially with those guys. But what I want to do, Targa, is I want to throw a little bit of a curveball at you.
Okay.
I want to go through these 3 teams.
3 teams?
And go through their remaining schedule and what you think the results are going to be.
Ooh, okay.
Okay? So, I will write this down so that way I can add up the points. So I can actually let you know who is going to win the title according to your calculations. So we'll start this week. We got City playing Brighton at the Amex. How do you think this one's going to go? City wins. Okay. We got Liverpool against Everton, Merseyside derby.
Liverpool wins.
All right. And we got Arsenal. They already won against City. Surprise. Or Chelsea. Surprise, surprise. Okay. West Ham against Liverpool.
Liverpool win.
All right. City and Forest.
City I already know the
answer. Don't. Yeah. Okay. The big one. North London derby. Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see a draw there. Obviously, I want Arsenal to win it, but I'll say Arsenal win.
Okay. We got Arsenal against Bournemouth at the Emirates.
Arsenal win.
City against Wolves at the Etihad.
City win.
Liverpool against Tottenham at Anfield.
Liverpool win.
City against Fulham at Craven Cottage.
City win.
Arsenal against Manchester United at Old Trafford.
I think that could be a draw.
Okay. Aston Villa against Liverpool at Villa Park.
I think Villa win.
Okay. City and Tottenham at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I will pray for any kind of result, but I just I think City will win, man. I think they will win all their games. I'll say a
Liverpool
draw.
against
How about that?
Wolves.
I'll even say
All
a
right.
draw. I'll say a City
All
draw.
right. All right. I'll take a draw. Liverpool against Wolves. Last game of the season.
I think Liverpool could win that game.
Yeah, Klopp's final match.
Yep.
I think there's too much there. Okay, Arsenal and Everton.
Arsenal
Win for the Gunners. Yeah. And then City against West Ham at the Etihad.
City win.
All right. So that's 16 points for City. That puts them at 89 points. Arsenal, you got 10 points. Whew, 87. And Liverpool, 12 points at 86. So no matter what happens, Targo, it's shaping up to be down to the wire. All the way down to that last match of the season.
It will be close, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's nuts.
It'll be exciting. This is why we're liking this season, man. Because usually, I mean, by now, last season, it seemed like City had ran away with it. There at the end after Arsenal bottled it. Hate using that word, but...
I hate it too, but, they're being 2-0 up against Southampton, West Ham, and Liverpool, and giving up 2 goals to draw all those games. Kind of have to say that they bottled it.
For me, the one that kills me is that Forest result when they lost to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. But hey, you never know what could happen. That's why we love the Premier League. Any team can win on any given day. Sometimes it doesn't look very likely, and it's probably not going to happen, but it could. So you're saying there's a chance.
I mean, look at Crystal Palace beating Liverpool at Anfield this past weekend. Didn't see that coming.
Right? And what did that do for Palace in the relegation race? Well, it pretty much took them out of it. So let's get into the relegation race, shall we? Start at the top, now we're at the bottom. Just few teams in it, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say 5.
Yeah. Everton's looking like they're probably, 3 points away from being clean and clear?
If they beat Liverpool in that Merseyside derby tomorrow, I would say yes.
I think if they... Yeah, I don't think so either. But, I mean, Everton still play Burnley, which they win that match, I think they'll be safe.
I think they also play Luton as well.
There you go. So we got Everton sitting...
Sorry, they don't play Burnley. They play Sheffield and Everton.
That's it.
And
That's
Luton.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. So we got Everton, 16th place, sitting on 30 points, 33 matches played. So they still have 5 matches left. You got Forest, who the Everton just beat, on 34 games played, 26 points. Luton, 34 matches played, 25 points. Burnley, 34 matches played, 23 points. Somehow, miraculously, Burnley are still in this. And if Nottingham Forest win this weekend, Sheffield United will officially be relegated, as they are on 16 points with 33 games played.
Yeah, Sheffield United are pretty much done. We've known that for a while.
So we're not going to talk about them anymore, but they will have their say on who else gets relegated, most likely, as they play Everton and Forest still this season.
So it could help Luton and Burnley out. We'll see, huh?
It could. It could. So Forest, Luton, and Burnley only separated by 3 points. How do you see this playing out? Because I'll be honest with you, these teams have been so inconsistent this season. I don't know who's going to get points, if they're going to get any, or what version of these teams is going to show up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Forest, they could get 6 points from their remaining fixtures, playing Sheffield United and Burnley. So 6 points for them. I mean, that would be huge. That'd put them over at 31. Or pardon me, not 31. That would put them at 32. Luton, who's right below him and fighting. I see Luton getting maybe 4 points, maybe 6, which still wouldn't be enough.
Who do you have
Burnley,
Luton beating for their 3 of their 4 points or 6 points?
I think they could beat Everton at
Okay.
Kenilworth Road. I also think maybe they could potentially get something against Fulham on the final day at Kenilworth Road, because Fulham are safe, happy, mid-table, really nothing to play for. Whereas Luton, I think, will be fighting. So I could see
Yeah.
something happening there, which is
Yeah, and
why I
then
think
you could throw the West Ham game in there as well because you never know which West Ham team is going to show up.
true. Burnley,
Okay.
I don't see Burnley getting anything, man. I mean, they play United, Newcastle, Tottenham, and then Forest on the final day. I think they will be relegated by the time they get to that Forest game.
Yeah, especially if the other teams pick up even a point. Yeah, I think you're right there. Okay.
What about you?
I
What are your
mean,
thoughts?
this for me, Forest is the wild card here because I've seen them play wonderfully this season, and I've also seen them play like Chelsea where they're just abysmal at times. I mean, they look like the reason why I bring up Chelsea is they look like a bunch of players that just get thrown into a team,
Yeah.
which they are. Forest for me, I mean, it's theirs to lose pretty much, right? If they pick up, 6 points. I mean, they do play Chelsea second to last day of the season. So that one could go any way. They'll have their say in the title race when they play City. I don't expect them to win, but you never know. I think if Burnley isn't relegated by the end of the season, I think Luton probably stands the best chance of staying up
What's crazy
because
is,
they play each other.
yes, what's crazy is looking at all this, Forest were deducted points. I think without any point deductions, Luton would be long gone. Luton and Burnley.
Yeah, it would definitely be an uphill battle, and I think you're probably right. But we're here, and they have point deductions. Everton, luckily for them, have
Got
pretty
some
much
back.
survived. Yeah, but I don't know. This could go any way. I think it's a little more clear cut than the title race, but it could go any way. I mean, Sheffield United's done. They'll be in the championship next season. But I mean, Burnley have picked up 6 points in the last 5 games, which is more than every team above them in this relegation race except for Everton, who've picked up 7. So it's anyone's ball game. It's really about who steps up and performs and wants to stay in the Premier League the most. Also, it's not Burnley because they have one, or sorry, not Forest because they have one. Who am I talking about? Who plays Tottenham and United and that Forest? No,
That's Burnley.
Burnley. It's not Burnley. Stick with
Yeah,
my original saying.
they play United, Newcastle, and then Tottenham, and then final day play
Yeah.
Forest.
Yeah. So I think Burnley's doomed, but this will go down to the wire for Luton and Forest, in my opinion. I think Everton's probably safe.
Out of those two, which one do you want to stay up? Luton or Forest?
Luton.
Really?
Yeah. I
Why?
love Kenilworth Road. I love the games there. I love watching them there. I love the fight in the squad. It's just like they never seem down and out. So
They really don't, huh? They have had some scrappy games there
yeah, and
at
against
Kenilworth
big
Road.
teams too. I mean, they lost to Liverpool in the last minute or drew them last
Drew
minute. They were
Liverpool.
beating. They almost beat Arsenal. Arsenal, Declan Rice getting the goal at the last minute.
Same with City. I think City
Same with
barely beat
City.
them at Kenilworth Road. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about massive teams here that, their budgets probably that they spend in a season could buy Kenilworth Road. So, yeah, I would love to see Luton stay up, if not for one season, maybe a couple just to see what, a couple $100 million into their, coffers would do for them as a team, see how good they could actually get. Forest, on the other hand, I mean, they've spent so much money and have so many new players all the time. I don't know how they're sitting 17th. So they're going to complain about every little thing that goes against them. They can go down.
I do feel like they have the better players though.
They do,
Forest.
100%.
Morgan Gibbs White, Awanyi, Alanga, Hudson-Odoi,
Tavernier.
Gio Reyna's.
Or is that Bournemouth?
That's Bournemouth.
Yeah, Gio Reyna is there.
Gio
Not
Reyna
playing
there
much,
on loan,
but
yeah.
so
I do feel like even the Brazilian center back Murillo.
Yeah, Murillo.
He's looking
and they
pretty.
got Danilo in the middle of the park as well.
Yeah, so I think
Speaking of Brazilian players,
I think Forest have the better players. That's why I'd be bummed if they went down. But like I said, I picked Luton at the beginning of the season, man. So I gotta stick by my Luton team.
Yeah, I mean, I picked the three that came up to go down, but I'm gonna stick with you, man. Luton are the feel-good story. We need at least one at the bottom of the table.
And like you said, man, it's their fight. It's their fight in these games. I will say they didn't show much fight this last game against Brentford, but
no.
But we'll see how they do the rest of the season. It'll be interesting. On that note, we thank you guys for listening so much. Make sure to check us out on our Instagram, TikTok, Brews FC, Brews Banter FC. Follow us on the YouTube. Hit like, subscribe, follow, all the fun stuff. Give us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this on your podcast platform. On that note, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.